are back on. We've switched a couple things up. We're now talking a little bit of Sixers action here. On, we're kind of splitting the episode here with a little drunk on the court. So just to touch on everything Sixers, Manny, how hot are the Sixers?
I mean, let's be honest, they're smoking. I mean, the last 10 games, 8 of 2, 8 wins, 2 losses. Even though, thanks for the update on the score.
Yeah, they are. They are down. They're down 11.
They're down 11. If they lose, it's okay. I mean, they're the last 10 games, they're 8-2, 7-game winning streak on the line right now, and as well as Embiid is actually playing like a monster.
Out of his mind, like a monster. Like he played like an MVP last year, and he's playing better this year.
Yes. So they're basically steamrolling. Sadly enough, I won't say sadly, but they're in the fifth spot. I think fourth or fifth spot. Is it?
Yeah.
In the league. So it's something
they're fifth in the East. They're 4.5 behind Chicago, who's at the top. But I mean, it's still relatively early-ish in the season. I think it's very, very evident as to what this team needs. Right, they are severely lacking a point guard. And they, as much as I want Ben Simmons gone and out of here, you can see where they are missing exactly what he brought to this team, right? They're missing the lockdown defender at the end of games. They're missing a guy. Outside of Maxey, right? You don't see anybody pushing the ball. You don't see anybody on the fast break.
It's a hard transition compared to what we saw this time last year. Again, like, yes, we're fifth in the league in the conference.
Right.
I think we have a great push, great chance to push it within the division, not even just the overall conference. And basically just keeping up the pace. Do we want to be number 1 seed? I don't know. Like the Bulls, first of all, at DeRozan right now, he's just clutch no matter what you
are
do.
Playing crazy.
Yes,
right. They found the perfect mix of guys that they brought in Ball, they brought in Vucevic, they surround him with a bunch of they're not top end of the league talent. Right, but they're guys that are going to consistently get the job done.
Yes, and that's what you want in the team, like that spread and so forth. And I'm hoping that we do get that eventually within the team. It's kind of hard because even though we're talking about Ben Simmons to this day, even though he hasn't picked up a ball or been on the court since the playoffs last year, it could be maybe it's that distraction right there is hurting the team. And again, shout out to Ben Simmons and him and his whatever he's going through, because in this day and age everything right now is just a hot mess. So
listen, Manny, I'm the first person to be on here talking about mental health. Right, plenty of times we've talked about making sure that you're talking to your people, that you're checking in with your people, and I have my doubts about, and it's hard to say that it took a while for me to come to that conclusion about, and I don't want to say that I'm judging his mental health, right? Because everybody has their own different version of what they might be struggling with. Yeah, but there are things that have come up along the road of the last year and a half, whatever, since that debacle, with the Hawks, where I question myself and I look and I say, if I'm experiencing mental health, would I be doing X? Right. And the last thing that just came up, right, that the thing with Clutch Sports and Clutch Sports trying to create this online push to get him into the leaderboard of the voting for the All-Star game. right? Like if I'm in such a position and such a struggle with my mental health, does that come like the optics of it look like
it's
I'm just a spoiled brat that just wants my way?
And that's, you know, that
because if you're really struggling with mental health, right, then you step away from the game completely.
Yes, and
you say, I'm going to get myself right. I'm going to spend this time. I'm going to get myself right.
It's a catch one. I won't say catch 22, but it's one of those things that, like, it feels very, very close to what it is. Like, if you have some issues, yes, you know, it happens and so forth. But you know, at this day and age, at this point, like, you requesting a trade, your agent is basically telling you, like, he wants to trade out. Like, that's not, you know, I won't say like, that's not part of mental health, but that's one of those things that you have, like, that creates a distraction. Oh, I want to be traded. Like, the new, like, his agent requested to be traded or something for a trade. And it's one of those things that's like, why are you mentioning this if you're having issues?
I think his agent kind of flopped it up a little bit. Oh, yeah. I think his agent thought, I think Clutch Sports thought that they would be able to, that they had enough pieces around the league in terms of owners and GMs that they thought that they would be able to move him for whatever. And when nothing ended up happening and Daryl Morey comes out and says, I'm not giving him away.
Yeah.
You know, he has value to us on the team. So we're not moving him for pieces. We're not moving him for future assets. We're not moving him for draft picks, because this team with the right pieces in place is slated to win now.
Oh yeah.
So kudos to Daryl Morey for saying no. But like, I think they got stuck at the end of the summer with egg on their face saying, you know, like, we don't have a move for him. And now you're in a spot where I really think that that at this point, I really highly doubt that anything happens during the year.
No.
I think he sits out the entire season, and I think something happens next summer. And we got a friend of the show at the Big T Will at the Full Court Press, who's been
crucial
throwing out the tea leaves around James Harden. And that could be a potential. Daryl Morey has always kind of sniffed around James Harden. That could be a place where there's drama with Kyrie. I don't know, but listen, they're Brooklyn's sitting, right behind Chicago at the top of the East.
Yes, and they're playing dominant too. So, like, it's one of those things, like, what's gonna give. So, and again, going back to, like, just, the team itself. I mean, 5th place would been, like, the past 10 games, past 5 games. And so we have dominated both sides of the court until now. So I say, but the defense has gone pretty solid. Embiid has gone, balls to the wall in terms of getting his double-doubles / triple-doubles and all that crazy stuff.
Moxie, his ability to be able to navigate the court, is beyond impressive. Yeah. And I personally, like, you and I grew up, right, we're right in the same age bracket. I feel like I haven't seen a player dominate the court and dominate the ball the way that he has since Iverson.
I agree. And, and he's doing it with the presence.
In a very different way, right? Yes. But, dominate, craves the attention.
Yeah.
I love the way that he plays it. Like, he gets the fans involved the same way Iverson did. Like, there's a lot of shades of Allen Iverson in Joel Embiid, but just dominating on a completely different level.
Oh yeah, and again, like, he's he's shown that he can play at a high caliber, day in, day out. We always question it. The past 3 or 4 years, we questioned the whole thing. But in the last 2 years, he has shown that he can consistently play. Now the question is, how much do we want him to play like that? Because we want, yes, we want to push to get a higher seed, but at the same time, I don't want to get him hurt. And in March, so that way we can like lose them for like the last stretch of the whole thing, and as well like I'm hoping that we have like we get like, the trade line the deadline is like what 3 weeks to get 3-4 weeks away. Like, maybe,
I want to say it's like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
3 or 4 weeks away.
Yeah, I know it's mid-February, so a month. Let's go. Let's go a solid
Right.
month away, and we can get pieces to help them out. I mean, you said like we're having a hard time finding scores. We're having a hard time finding defenders that or even players that can understand like okay, balls coming down and B's getting it. I need to get a fast break and so forth, so we can get that quick 2 points, get back and reset. Right. And like we talk about fast breaks in the offensive side perspective. Going to defensive side or even a team strategy, if you have that guy that goes down the court and can save and be maybe 10 steps per per quarter, that's a long way in the NBA and even basketball in general. Have him be fresh for the next game because he ran like half a mile less or something like that.
Right. I think you started to see some shades of that, in the game the other night where he plays the first 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and then sits the last 10.
Yes.
Looking for opportunities like that in games where you got this was a game that I thought maybe you might have the opportunity to do that tonight. Now they let Charlotte hang in the game far too long. You let them hang around to the point where, they and for whatever reason, right? This is a team that they've struggled with this year, right? The 2 games that they played back to back against Charlotte earlier on this year when they played at Charlotte back to back, which was a weird scheduling thing.
Crazy.
They struggled, right? Those games, I think the first game of the back to back went into overtime. And it took them all the way to the wire. So the Charlotte team is, right on the outside of the plus, but they're a team that's just they're young, they're competitive, they're playing well.
Yeah. Even with that, like Charlotte, even though I think they're 22 and like 17, something like that, they're not far behind in the push for the playoffs. I think they're the 7th seed on that thing. So like if they play well, we could see them in the playoffs against the Sixers early on in the rounds. So like,
absolutely,
it's one of those things like, and
that's a team that's that's a team that's gonna give you a run. Right? Yes. They're gonna give you a run. You're gonna earn every win.
Exactly, and especially like we talk about the Bulls and the DeRozan and Kyrie and the Nets, but those lower seeds, especially on the East side, because the West side, we have like a set, tier marker. Suns right now are the best in the league, but you still got your Jazz in the top 5. You still got your,
Golden State. Clay coming back. Did you watch that the other night?
Yeah, Clay coming back, and in practice he hit 33s. Like it's like it was nothing.
He came back. He had he was averaging like a point a minute.
Yeah, he's coming back to for revenge or whatever you want to call it. But
he's back right in rare form. I mean, he in that game. I'm just going to look real quick.
Go ahead.
In that game, he had 17 points in 20 minutes, right? And he was playing in like 4-minute spurts.
That is crazy.
He wasn't playing any kind of crazy extended minutes.
No,
he played 4 minutes here, 4 minutes there. Right. And the one move where he dribble drives, goes past somebody and like accelerates towards the hole and just flushes it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It blew the roof off that place.
Yeah. And again, like, Clay coming back makes the Warriors, tenfold better. I won't be surprised there if they push for the number 1 seed over the Suns. Easily.
True.
On the whole thing. But even on the going to the East side, Eastern Conference, that whole 1 through 10, I see 3 through 10 itself, any given day making, a push to, like being in the finals. not even
Oh,
being a push,
absolutely.
being in the finals, or even giving, let's say if the league ended today, giving Brooklyn a pain in the butt, or the Bulls that push, that that hammer, that they're like, you know what, you're not getting your sweep, you're not getting your easy 4 wins, you're gonna be here to game 7, and we're gonna make you regret that you thought we were gonna be simple and
No,
stuff.
absolutely. You're
So,
absolutely right.
and going back to the Sixers and the whole thing, you know, we, the strategy we had last year, granted that we lost some players and some players are still hurt, some players are still, dealing with whatever they have with the questions and so forth. We need to find a way to bring people. Well, I would say at this point, bring people, but even people in the on the court, on the bench, like, come on, let's get it going, because we have
Right.
to. This is the part of the season that people overlook, because it's like it's middle of January. You still got 3 months to go before the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
get formatted, and you still have all this other stuff. But this is the part that you either you show me that you want to be here and play, and bust your ass.
Right.
Sorry for language at that point, but or
Manny, it's after 10. We're good.
okay,
It's
perfect,
after 9. We're good.
perfect.
The kids are
Oh,
asleep.
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, cross fingers. But they, they're busted ass, showing us they want to play here and follow the strategy we have. I mean, the good thing about Doc Rivers is he knows for the most part what he has and how he can play them, but at the same time, he wants to go back to the old days. I mean,
Right.
let's be honest, Embiid's playing balls out, but he's going to look at Embiid as the Kevin Garnett back in the '08 championship with Paul Pierce, Garnett, and Allen.
True.
So he wants to get that, Embiid as your Garnett. He wants to find somebody to be his Paul Pierce, and he wants somebody to be his, Ray Allen, to give you shooting threes. Will he get it in the off season? I mean, in the trade deadline, probably not. But he wants the
Don't know.
people in the bench to start thinking like that. That if you have the ball, you can go into the hoop and just dunk, do it. Like, give me those points so that way we can try to stay, in high contention.
Oh, absolutely, Manny. All right, the two things I want to ask you before we do final thoughts.
Okay.
One, some of the rumors today that came out of Ben Simmons would be open to coming back in January.
Yes, I heard of that one.
Short story long. You take him back if he wants to come back.
I'm gonna say no. No.
Okay.
I me being a coach, for little league kids and so forth, even high school, middle school, throughout my years. A person they cannot show me that they are passionate for the game should not be playing the game. Even though he has
I'm right there with you.
The defensive talent, you cannot tell me that by him coming in back into the building is going to create some type of distraction, especially this late, middle of the season.
100%.
Like if he did this and it was like October before, 15 games into the season, I can, I would say forgive, not forget. But you're talking about we're in the middle of the season. We're trying to get everything ready to get to the playoffs, to push through the playoffs, and you're gonna come in and think that it's everything okay. Like, as a coach, even if he comes in, you gotta prove to me. You have to prove to me like you're gonna be on your best behavior, and that means that.
Manny, I saw everything I needed to see when in training camp when Doc Rivers asked him to go participate in a drill, and he shook his head no, and then he put his ball down and he went home, and that to me told me everything. At this point in the season, I don't care that you're the 5th seed. Like you're starting to gel as a team. You got certain guys that are starting to fill roles. Is it ideal? No. Would you rather have him on the court with his defense and his ability to be able to create fast breaks? Yes, absolutely, 100%. But it's all those intangibles off the court that I just say no.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to ask you: are you on the move Tobias Harris trade? Would you move him if you could? If you can get someone to take that contract off your hands, is he a guy that you would move?
if you give me take the contract away and give me, I want to say a top prospect, of either a rookie or a second year that can gel well with Embiid, give me that,
Okay.
or even give me that assist player. Somebody can basically dish the ball to Embiid down the court, give him on the post, get him going. I'll take that trade.
Okay.
As much as Tobias Harris has done well with the Sixers organization, like there's a plateau that he has hit in the season, last season and middle of this season, that
He had the opportunity to
yes.
be able to be your second tier scorer
Mm-hmm.
right behind Embiid,
And he has not.
and he just has days. He just has nights where he just is completely absent.
Yes.
And the thing that frustrates me, man, is that like he's the type of guy that'll have 18 in the first half and finish with 22. Right?
Yes.
Doesn't show up in the second half, doesn't show up with points down at the end of the game. I don't know. I just, for me,
Yeah.
he's a
No.
guy that if you can get someone to take him off your hands and you can get something in value in return that helps you build a solid perimeter game around Embiid, I'm all for it.
Yes. And again, like as sad as it may seem, the NBA is a business at the end of the day, and
Oh,
his contract.
absolutely.
His contract. I mean, yes, pay the man. I'm not saying no, but if you're not producing, like you said, you first half you're 18 points and you finish with 22. I need somebody to start with 18 points and a half and finish with 36 by the end of the,
Right. Like Embiid, prime example,
Embiid.
right? In
Yeah.
those games, right, when Embiid has, he has 17 in the first quarter the other night and finishes with, I think, like 33, 34.
Yeah.
Right. So it's consistent scoring throughout the
Yeah.
game that's not going to put you in that spot.
Yeah, even like I think it was against the Hawks that they lost. And during that game, even though he only scored, I think it was like 23 points, he still grabbed close to 16 rebounds. So he's still trying to push that whole, getting that push of like, I'm not gonna beat you in the scoring, but I'm gonna beat you on someplace else, or at least try to make it to beat you on that someplace else.
Okay.
And Harris, I haven't seen that tenacity. That inconsistency is what is ruining. The consistency is what is hurting him as a player.
Right.
The fact that one day you're the top scorer in the game, and the next day you're basically play 18 minutes and you're missing, you're 0 for 4 from like the box or the paint or whatever. So it's like, where is that? Where is that going? So
I'm in lockstep, man. Like I just for me, I'm looking at this is Embiid's prime.
Yes.
Right. He's playing out of every year his game has gotten better. He adds a new element to his game that he uses to improve. I think you have to start that. You can't miss out on that window of opportunity, because when it closes, it's gonna close hard and fast, and and you're gonna be right back to that eternal purgatory of being the 6, 7, 8, 9 middle of the pack on the fringes of the playoffs, right? Those Andre Iguodala years. Right? Not for nothing. I didn't even know. I was watching the Warriors game. I completely forgot that he was still in the league.
Oh yeah,
he played for the Heat for a whole period of time and is now back and playing with the Warriors.
Yes, no, but you're right. Like something like those Andre Iguodala years were very, very rough. For every Sixers fan, including myself, I'm a Sixers fan. That it's like so much inconsistency, and like they had the potential every year to at least make it to the middle of the pack, and
they were relevant, right?
Yes.
They were relevant.
Yes. So it's
I don't want to be relevant, right?
I don't either.
Listen, Iverson never had the opportunity to have a parade.
I'm hoping for one.
Embiid at the parade.
That'd be special.
Riding on I can just picture him like literally just sitting on the front of a bus, riding down Broad Street with like just 2 bottles of champagne, just like I'm here for it all. Right. Yes. And then having like you could picture him having like a Chase Utley, Jason Kelce type moment. Just parade, embracing everything. Yes. I don't know. I'm here for it all, but I want that for him so bad.
I do too. I'm hoping that everybody in the Sixers organization wants that as well. And again, make those moves that make sense and make those moves that make the team better. Don't just try to dump Harris' contract out because we know he's inconsistent. You know, absolutely. get something out of it at the end of the day. Get something out of it.
Absolutely. All right, Manny. We're gonna close it out.
All right.
Final thoughts. Okay. Anything and everything you got. What do you got for me for final thoughts?
All right. Drunk on Broad fans, people, ladies and gentlemen of the world. We talked about basically the NFL playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, the playoffs.
Playoffs.
This is basically I think the highlight of every NFL season, the first round, because we can basically break down the men from the boys. We can break down the contenders from the pretenders. We can basically break down everything and so forth. So at the end of the day, we have 6 games. Yeah, 6 games, right? Yeah, I lost count. Those 6 games are either going to be those best 6 games of the season or the worst 6 games of the season. We have so many tangibles with those that you're either going to be enjoying it every touchdown, every sack, every play, or you're going to be that guy who's just going to be chugging beers because you are bored off your mind. But that even said, enjoy it. You know, this is
kind of like that. It's kind of like that first day of March Madness.
Yes,
those first 2 days.
Just enjoy it. Enjoy it with your family. Enjoy it with your friends. Tune in on Nickelodeon. See something different. You know, experience it, and then you decide whether you want to go back to Tony Romo on CBS or Troy Aikman and on Fox. Like, just enjoy sports. I mean, not trying to get political here. Like with this day and age and this whole pandemic, the 20s have been a crazy decade already, and we're just in year number 3. So, new format, new system. Enjoy it. Hopefully the wins are there. You know, go Eagles, go Raiders, and if not, you know, take it with stride and hopefully get better for the next season. And that's what it is. Sports is to enjoy and entertain yourself. So that's my thought for tonight. So.
I love it. Listen, man, for my final thoughts, I'm going to go to something that has been going on all year long on social media. That is one of the things that I love about social media. Huge shout out to Darius Slay and his wife for everything that they're doing to connect with fans on social media.
Yes.
All year long, the 2 of them have been giving away stuff, signed jerseys, helmets, mini helmets, signed footballs. The last couple weeks, they've been giving away tickets to the games. Wow. And it's literally just her, his wife, or it's mostly his wife, right? But them going on and saying, I got 8 tickets like this weekend. I got 8 tickets for the game. Who wants to go? Right. And people just saying, pick me. I'm on there. Pick me. Right. But it just further reinforces, right, why that fan and team connection is so important. Yes. And there's not that kind of stuff doesn't get publicized a whole lot, right? The good stuff never makes the news. It's always the negative stuff that gets all the attention and gets the 400, likes and retweets and whatever, the 400,000. To me, what Darius Slay and his wife are doing is everything that's right with professional athletes.
Oh, yes.
Right? Connecting with the fans, connecting with the city,
having fun.
All right. it kind of speaks to your point, right? It's
Yeah.
entertainment, right? We're here to have fun. They're making it fun. We're making it fun. Like, just have fun, be entertained. Go Birds.
Go
You know,
Birds.
Manny, go Raiders. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be secret. I'll secretly root for your team. Maybe I'll put on a pair of black socks or something.
That's fine by me. Fine by me. Every little thing counts.
Oh, so. Absolutely. Listen, I'm a huge fan of the. If you ask my kids, I'm a huge fan of the juju. Right, yeah. So you got to have good juju on, right? So I got the. You can't see it right now, but I got the Eagles. You know, the Zubaz. I got them. I got those on. Good, right, those will be on game day. I got had to bring out the Kelsey jersey. The last time Tom Brady lost in the playoffs.
Kelsey. Yeah.
Right, courtesy of the Eagles.
Yes.
So, you know, enjoy this weekend. Go have fun. Enjoy the games. You know, don't forget to go check out our sponsors scrolling across the bottom. You know, La Terrain Luxury Watches and Team Clicks. You know, and just be on the lookout for the content that's going to be coming out. Go check us out on, you know, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You know, check out our highlight packages. We've been putting out some 2-minute highlight packages from you know the previous night's games. So just enjoy the content. Have a great night, and Manny, it's been great. Thank you so much for having. You know, thank you so much for for coming on. And yeah, we really appreciate you coming on, and you know, look forward to maybe having you back on. You know, a little bit more.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here.
All right.
It's fun. It's always fun. It's always fun with you.
Sounds good, Manny.
All right.